You think Evers dumped Bimbo's body down the chute and burned it? Hmm? You really do?
Yeah, and I think he's done it before.
I am Grant from Screen Rant. How are you both doing today?
Hi, Grant. That rhymes. Grant from Screen Rant. Love it.
It does. It's such a wonderful icebreaker to just start off the interview every time. So I watched Depravity earlier, and it was quite the fun thriller from start to finish. And Victoria, I'll start with you, and then Devon. What was it about this film that really attracted both your attention to be a part of it?
So many things. I mean, Paul Tamassi, who wrote the script and is our director, I'm a big fan of his. I met him, I vibed with him so well, but I love his work. He wrote The Fighter, he wrote The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which came out recently, but he's just really such a talented writer. And I loved the script. I mean, I personally love a dark thriller, and I feel like this one was sexy. There were tons of twists and turns. I never really knew where it was going to go next. I was constantly surprised and intrigued. And I found the character of Grace to be really fun and sexy. And she's like a thrill seeker. And there was just a lot of ingredients where I was like, okay, this has all the right things to be something really interesting.
And then Devon, how about for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, same. When I read the script, I was like on the edge of my seat because of all the twists and turns, and that obviously is like really kind of something you look for when you're reading a thriller script. Like, you want to feel that way, and you want to be at some point like, what is going on? Like, you want that, because if you know everything that's going on, then it's like, you know, where are the surprises? But this is like, also the character Arya, I mean, like, it's such a kind of like dream role to be able to play, and such a kind of like complex character, and you don't know where it's going to go. You don't know what's going to end up with her. You don't know what's going to happen to anyone. So, I mean, yeah, what Victoria said, it had all the right ingredients for a really good, you know, thriller. And yeah, it was easy. And Paul was so great when I met him for the first time too. And just so easy to talk to. And I just knew it was going to be a special project to be a part of.
And also is filming in Thailand, which I'm so cool. I want to go to Thailand.
Yeah, no, that was definitely enticing for us.
Yeah.
I was definitely curious when I saw it said it was filming in Thailand. I was like, I wonder how that's going to factor in. But I love how it still feels just kind of like it could be anywhere. And I'd love to hear then about the set as far as your characters' apartment together, because one thing I love about it is that it feels so lived in. And I'm curious if either of you had any input on, you know, what went into that set.
I think we had like some baby photos in there. I think we had like some friend photos. I mean, there was like, a bunch of photos from our lives that we had to
yeah. But other than that, we didn't.
We didn't. But it did feel like home. Like the week we were there, like 2 weeks we were there, it was just like stepping into your house. I mean, we were on a soundstage, so it was just like, you know, it feels so nice to just like walk into your apartment. And
yeah, and these girls had a very spacious living.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Girls, it's you.
We're doing good.
Yeah, that was quite the luxurious apartment for a couple of college students. I was quite surprised. Now, I did also want to talk about your character's friendship at the heart of this film, because it is very much a central point to the story. What was it like for you both finding that dynamic and that rapport with each other, you know, going into filming?
I mean, we said before, like, we kind of just jumped into, I mean, we had a day of rehearsals and we had like a welcome dinner, but we kind of just jumped into it. And like, I feel like me and Victoria like got to know each other in the makeup chair pretty much, playing music.
Yeah, honestly. And it was so easy, like having that chemistry with you, like it all kind of just unfolded very naturally. And I mean, I think that's like a credit to Paul. I think Paul has been sitting on the script for such a long time and knew exactly like what he wanted for each role. And I think that I don't know, he saw it, he knew it was gonna work. The man had a vision. What can I say?
He saw two chill girls. He was like, these girls are chill. They're gonna get it.
That's well, I'm glad that it clicked as quickly as it did, because it really does show in the film. So Devon, I'd like to turn to you next. I mean, we see your character has sort of a dark past that she is still kind of living through, and at the same time, she's also not quite on board for the thrill seeking that everybody else is going for, but is still along for the ride. Why do you think it is that she sort of sticks with this journey for as long as she does in the film?
I mean, it could be a lot of things, but without spoiling, I mean, she's like an introverted, creative girl. I don't think she wants to stir up anything evil, that could make her life disrupted. And, she's, as you said, has a dark past. And I think she kind of got a grip on that and probably doesn't want to, welcome any more darkness into her life.
And what is it like, playing that introverted side of her while also knowing sort of what like that past is and what she's going through?
I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm like fully introverted, but I definitely have a side to me that's kind of more introverted and like creative, and like I could kind of relate to that. Like she just wants to sit in her room and like look at paintings. Like I just want to sit in my room and play guitar. Like I feel her. So that was pretty easy to connect to, for sure.
I love that. And so Victoria, I'll turn back to you. You mentioned your character being the fun thrill seeker, and I'd love to hear, what it was like capturing her or finding the heart of her and bringing her to life on screen.
It was really fun. I think Grace is a smart girl. I think, she's a law student, but I think she also is the more outgoing of the two. And I think, as you see in the film, she definitely has this kind of thrill-seeking bad girl side to her. She finds the danger really exciting, and it turns her on a little bit, which was really fun. It was really fun to bring that to life.
So I wanted to touch on that as well, because I remember you mentioned it in another interview recently, or not too long ago, but that this was your first time filming a sex scene for a film, which is obviously something that requires a lot of vulnerability from an actor. And I'd love to hear, what it was like for you building that trust with Paul and everybody else on set, while shooting that.
Well, fun fact, we filmed all of my like romantic scenes and my love scene on the first day of filming, which I was like, oh great, thanks guys, you're just gonna like throw me into the deep end here. But I was so nervous about it at first, like genuinely was really freaked out. And Paul just made me feel really safe, really comfortable. He was like, I'll show you the cut after. If you're not comfortable with anything, we can change it. Like he really was so accommodating and really wanted me to feel safe and protected, which made me feel really good. And even though I didn't know Taylor very well, who is the actor in the scene with me, he's a great actor, and he's also just a lovely human. And, it was a great icebreaker for us. And he also was very respectful, very like making sure, like checking in. Are you okay? Are you feeling, is everything good? Because it's a very uncomfortable thing to just be thrown into doing. But I think all things considered, I feel good about it. And I felt my mind was definitely put at ease. So it went well.
Well, yes, all things considered, then I'm glad that it went as well as it did, because yes, it is something that is very uncomfortable and could be made worse if there's no trust with everybody else. So I see I'm coming up on time, and Devon, I did want to turn back to you. Again, without spoilers, you also have a lot of physical scenes in this film with some of the characters. What was it like filming those, especially since this is a lower budget film, so there's not necessarily as much time to rehearse things like fights and such?
For sure. It was super fun. I'd never done stuff like that before. It was really cool to see how everything kind of works. It's like a dance. Like they choreograph it in a certain way, so you don't get hurt. Obviously, it's still, I can't even say what happens, but it's obviously still physically taxing to a certain extent, but obviously no injuries, and it was all done safely. But I mean, it's kind of a dream to get to do that kind of stuff. and to watch it and be like, yeah, that was actually me. I actually did that.
Yeah, you're such a badass in this
Tom
movie.
Cruise moment. But no, it's super cool to be able to do that stuff. I mean, I'd love to do that all the time if I could. And
Well, hopefully, oops, sorry.
So
Well, hopefully this opens the door for that going forward then. Get you in more action movies where you're doing the stunts. But in the meantime, I look forward to getting the word out about Depravity. You both are great in it. And like you said, it's very unpredictable. So I think people are going to have a blast trying to figure out what's going on. So take care, y'all.
Thank you.
I mean, it sounded like a scream. Yeah, okay, but it could have been the elevator. It could have been anything. This building's ancient.
Okay, what about those weird thumps? Could have been old pipes, yeah? Or it could have come from something heavy moving through the walls on every side.